Welcome back to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul, the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. In today's episode, I'm talking about navigating stress and anxiety and empowering mature women. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed the show. I want to discuss the topic that often gets swept under the rug, and that's stress and anxiety for mature women. As we traverse through various stages of life, our responsibilities, our roles, and our expectations can weigh heavily on us, leading us to overwhelming stress and anxiety. But fear not, because today I'm going to delve into understanding these emotions, their impact, and most importantly, strategies for conquering them. And that's what we really want to do. We want to get a handle on all of these emotions and put them in check and conquer them and know that we don't need to continue to live under this stress and anxiety. Let's start by differentiating between stress and anxiety. Stress is our body's natural response to external pressures and demands, while anxiety is a persistent feeling of worry, fear, or a sense of unease. And I will be honest with you, I don't feel a lot of stress in my life, but I do have anxiety. I have an enormous amount of fear that I deal with on a daily basis. So don't think that just because I'm a health coach and a Reiki and meditation practitioner, that I have all the answers. I don't. I struggle just like many of you do. But I'm going to help you as I help myself to come up with some strategies and some ways that we could eliminate that, right? So both are normal reactions. Stress is normal, anxiety is normal, especially in the world that we live in today. But when they become chronic and overwhelming, that's when we can really severely affect our overall well being. And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to manage this. So, first, let's look at the cause of stress and anxiety. For mature women, right, especially, this is the area that we're targeting. Stress and anxiety can stem from various sources. So, life transitions is the first one that I want to talk to you about, whether it's retirement, empty nesting, caring for aging parents, transition that can disrupt our sense of stability. So, for me, my life transition that gave me probably the most stress and anxiety was when I lost my corporate job of 27 years at the age of 61. What was I going to do? My thoughts were running wild, thinking, who in their right mind is going to hire a 61-year-old woman who they know in the next couple of years will be wanting to retire? No one wants to hire someone who's 61. First of all, my salary that I was looking for was way higher than what a young kid just coming in right out of college would be asking for. And it's a no-brainer that most companies want fresh young blood. Why would they want someone who's 61 years old? So that situation was very stressful for me. And whatever your situation is, it's a normal part of life. And sometimes it's just comforting to know that you're not the only one that's faced with these types of decisions. And like most things in life, I will tell you that this too shall pass. And for me, once I got over the shock and the hurt and the sense of betrayal that I felt when I lost my corporate job, it opened up a world of new opportunities for me to explore. So if you're listening to me today on my podcast, this is one of the opportunities that opened up for me when I put my fears aside and my stress aside and started to think in a more rational and calming fashion. I started coming up with ideas. Okay, I don't want to work for someone else. I don't want to interview for a job. So I decided that I was going to put my certifications that I had to good use and do what I always loved to do, but never had the time or uh, the resources to start doing it because my corporate position tied up all of my time. I didn't have at a time. Now I was being given the gift of time to explore doing the things that I always loved to do, but didn't have the time to do. So you see how that life transition just opened up all new, exciting opportunities for me that I didn't have while I was working a 9 to 5. The next thing that brings up a lot of stress and anxiety for women are health concerns, dealing with health issues like menopause or chronic conditions that could really exacerbate your stress levels. So I'm going to talk about how we can get through that. And, some health conditions are more doable than others. It depends on everyone's situation, but I will tell you that there's help out there for you. The next thing that we need to talk about are relationship dynamics. Strained relationships with your partners, your children, or your friends can really contribute to emotional turmoil. We're going to look into that and explore some ways around it and some things that we can do to improve that. There's also social expectations. So society often imposes unrealistic standards on women regarding beauty, career success, caregiving, and this all adds pressure to the other pressures that we put on ourselves, either internally and externally as well. And it affects our health, right? The impact of prolonged stress and anxiety on our health really cannot be overstated. They can manifest into physical symptoms such as headaches, digestive issues, and even exacerbate existing conditions like hypertension or diabetes. Moreover, they can take a toll on our mental well-being, leading to depression, insomnia, and also reduced cognitive function. When we're stressed out all the time, we're always burning the candle on both ends. We're not taking care of ourselves. We are not doing what is needed to really start to see the big picture of what we're dealing with. We're under constant stress, constant fear, constant anxiety, and it's just going to make everything seem insurmountable and way worse than it actually is. So let's focus on some practical strategies to manage stress and anxiety. And the first one on my list is self-care. We need to prioritize self-care activities that rejuvenate your mind, your body, and your soul. This could include meditation, yoga, hobbies, or simply taking time for yourself. So, as far as meditation should be something that every man, woman, and child should be introduced to and should be part of your daily routine. It doesn't need to be an hour meditation. It could be a 5 to 10 minute check in with yourself. So what does that look like? Well, wake up in the morning, start by being grateful that you actually woke up. Start there. Go sit in your favorite chair or your favorite spot in your home and close your eyes and connect to your breath and connect to your feelings. And maybe just give thanks. Give thanks for waking up. Give thanks for feeling well. Give thanks for all of your life blessings. And for those of you who don't feel like you have any life blessings, if you're breathing, you're a lot better than most. If you're not on oxygen, you're a lot better than most, right? So start there. Start there. But there are so many things to be grateful for. And like I said, you don't need to spend a lot of time. Connect with yourself. Feel your body. Get into your mind. Get into your body. And if you can't think of anything, just start by saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you continue to say thank you, you may think of things that you want to be thankful for, like waking up in the morning, like your breath, like your family, like even if you have a job that you don't like, there are some people who would be grateful to have that job and to have that salary that you're making. So there's always things that you could be grateful for. Just the roof over your head, whatever it is, find thanks in the littlest things. And once you start small, then it starts to expand. It expands and it grows, and you find more things to be grateful for. And just continue through your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the gas in my car. Thank you for my tires being full of air. You get the idea. If you can't think of anything, if you think that your life is in complete shambles, think of someone else who's worse off than you, and then say thank you. So self-care could include meditation, like I just said, yoga. You don't have time for a full yoga practice? Do a couple of vinyasa flows or do happy baby poems. Whatever it is, start out small. Let's talk about hobbies. I want you to think back to when you were a child. What were the things that you used to love to do? Did you love coloring? Well, guess what? They have adult coloring books out there. Go grab yourself a coloring book and some crayons and start coloring. Or simply taking time for yourself, whatever that means. Going to take a walk, maybe calling a friend, go to a yoga class, meet up with someone for a cup of coffee, get involved in volunteer work. Whatever would bring you any amount of happiness and joy that could take away your thoughts of anxiety or your problems. Get a facial, get a massage. Do something that you love to do. I want you to reconnect to your childhood. What did you enjoy doing as a child? Whatever it is, go back to that and do it. That is self-care. Self-care doesn't mean that you're selfish. It doesn't mean that you're putting yourself first. You should be putting yourself first. You know, when you're on an airplane and the stewardess is up front and she says that the oxygen, if it has to come down, you need to put it on yourself before you put it on your children. There's a reason for that. You can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself first. The second thing that I want to talk to you about is a healthy lifestyle. Maintain a balanced diet. You should be eating healthy protein and loading up the majority of your plate with organic vegetables and small amounts of healthy protein, whether that's fish, whether that's chicken. So if it's fish, I'd like to see you do wild caught. If it's chicken, I want organic chicken, grass-fed beef. You want to have the highest quality of food that you're putting into your system. That's number one. Lifestyle factors play a significant role in managing stress. The other factor that we need to address here, which is often not spoken about enough, is your gut health. If you're suffering with anxiety or have a lot of stress in your life, you need to know that there is a mind-body connection, a gut and brain relationship that you need to look at. If you have gut issues, more than likely it is having an effect on your brain as well, possibly leading to stress and anxiety. Also, maybe brain fog as well will come with that. So we need to clean up our gut issues. And how do we do that? We do that by adding in more fruits, more veggies, healthier cooking techniques. So eliminate deep frying, eliminate processed foods, eliminating takeout, eliminating fast foods. For right now, we're cleaning up our diet. That's what we're doing. Cleaning up your diet will have an enormous effect on the integrity of your microbiome in your gut. It will bring the gut back into balance. You'll have a healthy ratio of good to bad bacteria in your gut, and that will make a world of difference in your brain, in your outlook on life, in your stress and anxiety, and all of that. So what I'm saying is that if you're adding in all of these fruits and vegetables and healthy protein, you're crowding out the other foods, the fast foods, the processed foods, the sugars. I'm not saying you can't have them. You can in moderation, but it can't be the main course of your diet, right? And as you're eating more of the healthy foods, you'll have less of a desire for the fast foods and processed foods. You'll start to see a big difference right away in how you feel. And not only how you feel, you'll start to see a difference in how you look, right? You'll lose a lot of the puffiness in your face. You may notice a flatter stomach. You may feel lighter. You may start to lose weight without even trying because you're just adding in more good foods and pushing out the unhealthier foods in your life. The next thing I want to talk about is social support. Lean on your support network, whatever that looks like. Family, friends, support groups. Sharing your feelings and seeking advice can provide immense relief. Social support to me was life-changing when I was dealing with an addiction problem of a loved one. I thought I could handle it on my own. I wanted to keep it a secret. I didn't want my family and friends to know what I was dealing with. And it was a very, very dark and lonely place for me. I had nowhere to turn. I didn't know what to do. I was extremely depressed. I had anxiety. I was getting physically sick. There was always something wrong with me. I either had a stomach virus, a migraine headache, gut issues, aches and pains. You name it, I went through everything. I believe that it brought on my Hashimoto's disease. I believe that it contributed to me getting celiac disease. It wasn't until I went to support groups and went to Al-Anon that I started to realize that there's a whole world of people that are dealing with addiction and a whole world of people who are dealing with a loved one who's dealing with addiction. It's so hurtful. It's so frightening. And you just can't understand why this person just can't stop. And it wasn't until I got the support of others that I realized I'm not alone in this. It made a world of difference in myself. It made a world of difference in how I dealt with the person who I loved that was addicted, which changed how they were back towards me. Did it end perfectly? No, it did not. But what I did gain was the strength to realize that I couldn't take care of this person. I could only take care of myself and my loved ones who were affected by this addiction as well. And so for me, that meant walking away. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I'll be honest with you. It broke my heart. I felt guilty for turning my back on this person, but it was the support of like-minded people who were in the same situation as me, who had already moved past where I was, who gave me the strength. And it was such a relief just to know that I wasn't the only one that was dealing with this situation. So for whatever it is that you're dealing with, know that whatever your issue is, there is help out there and you have to seek it. And if you have no idea where to turn or what to do, maybe I could help you. Reach out to me and I'll help you if I can, or point you in the direction that you need to go. The next tip for self-care that I want to give you is mindfulness and relaxation techniques. So practice mindfulness exercises. You could go online, you could Google, you'll come up with a ton. I also host meditation classes and you'll see them on my social media. I put them up all the time. Some are free, some are a small little fee that I charge, just depending on what it is that I'm doing. I also do Reiki. So these are all relaxation techniques, deep breathing. There's also progressive muscle relaxation, which helps to alleviate tension and promote relaxation. Believe me when I tell you, there are so many resources out there to help you develop a meditation practice, to help you develop a mindfulness practice, and just bringing yourself back into self-awareness, focusing on your thoughts. And when your thoughts turn negative, turn them into positive. When you're self-aware and you're being mindful of your thoughts, you'll start to catch all the negativity, all the negative things that we tell ourselves on a daily basis, and then change it around. Go from the negative to the positive. And you'll start to see a big difference in your thoughts, in your anxiety, in your fears. I'm speaking from experience. I'm the biggest naysayer. My dad, I get it from my dad. My dad was a worrywart. And when I was a child, it used to piss me off all the time that, oh, what are you worried about that for? Why are you worried about this and that and the other thing? And guess what? I turned into my dad. Thank you, Dad. But the difference between me and my dad is that I work on that negative thought process every day. It's a work in process. I don't think it will ever fully go away. It's part of my practices that I do on a daily basis is to say positive affirmations about everything, about my daughter being safe, about my mom being safe, about my partner being safe. I worry about everything. I still worry about the person in my life who had the addiction, and I pray for them. I still pray for them. The next self-care practice that I want to talk about is exercise. You hear about it every single day. Everyone knows the value and the importance of exercising, especially physically as we're aging, all the wonderful benefits that it has. Moving your body on a daily basis will help you to shake off some of the attention that you're holding on to. Taking a walk, going out, it's springtime, going out into the morning sun or the afternoon sun or the evening, whichever time of day you love best, that's the time of day that you should be going out and walking off and shaking off some of that tension that you're holding on to. You cannot believe what a difference a walk or a bike ride or whatever form of exercise, running. When I was younger and I used to run, running was my salvation. Running was a part of my routine when I was dealing with that loved one who had an addiction problem. That was my release. That was my outlet to get away from the situation. And I just wanted to run and run and run and never come back. But when I did come back, I just felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. It improved my mood. It gave me a much needed perspective on my issues, and it will on whatever issues that you're dealing with. I promise you it will. It's a mind-body experience that is free. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't need to go to a fancy gym. You don't need to have fancy clothing. You don't need any of that. You don't need equipment if you can't afford it. Just start out slow. If you haven't walked in a while or ran in a while or bike rode or whatever it is that you want to set out to do, start out slow. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and build up. I recently did a podcast episode on bike riding because in this episode, you could go back and listen to it. But in the episode, I talk about how it was my birthday back in February, and my partner, John, was asking me what I wanted for my birthday. And he said, "Do you want a piece of jewelry?" I have more jewelry than I know what to do with, right? I said, "No." We were down in Florida at the time. We're snowbirds. We go down January, February, March. And I said, "You know what? I think maybe a bicycle would be great. I could ride around the community. We're in a gated community. We live on a golf course. And I hadn't been on a bike in about 30 years. I cannot tell you the difference that I felt when I got off that bicycle. I felt like a kid again. I loved it. I went out every single day to bike ride. By the time I was ready to come home in April, I was bike riding 8 miles a day. I absolutely loved it. What did it do for me? It lifted my mood. I felt like a kid again. I was sleeping better. I was waking up earlier. I lost weight. This year was the first year that I went to Florida that I came back weighing less than when I went down there. Normally, the couple of years prior to that, I came back 10 or 15 pounds overweight because we were eating out every night and snacking and having pina coladas. I eliminated alcohol. I was eating 100% gluten-free. I was riding my bicycle every day. I was also going to the gym. I was lifting weights, and it just made a world of difference in every aspect of my life, mind, body, and soul. The next piece of advice that I want to give you is to seek professional help if none of the other techniques are working for you. Don't hesitate to seek professional guidance if stress and anxiety has become overwhelming to you. Therapy, counseling, and if that doesn't work, medication can be valuable tools in managing your emotions. Seek the support of a therapist, a support group, whatever it is that will make a world of difference. They provide you with the tools to manage stress and anxiety. And the other thing I want to tell you is to be patient with yourself while you get back onto the right path, right? You may think that stress and anxiety just appeared out of nowhere. It did not. It's been building in you probably since you were a child, just like me. Like I talked about my dad. My dad, he had all these fears, all this anxiety. He had fear of driving, fear of money, having too little money. And I think he was afraid of having more money. He was just fearful of everything. He never took a chance in life. He held back on everything. And you know what I'm going to tell you about my dad? When he was on his deathbed, he talked to me all the time about all of his regrets about the things he never did that he always wanted to do. He talked about the fact that he never bought himself a brand new car. Every car that he ever bought was used. He regretted that. He regretted everything. I don't want to be on my deathbed regretting things. And so I work on myself every single day. I really do. And I'm not going to say that it's easy and I'm there. I'm not there. I probably will never be there. And you may not be there either for a long time, if ever. But it's a process. And each day, you will start to feel a little bit better and a little bit better. And you need to just keep working. That's why, meditation is called a practice. Yoga is called a practice. They're practices because you don't just do it once and it's a one and done. No, it's a lifetime commitment. But these are the tools that are going to make your life better. They're going to improve your situation. They'll make it more tolerable. They'll make it easier for you to navigate. So, in conclusion, stress and anxiety are formidable adversaries, especially for mature women who would juggle multiple roles and responsibilities, right? You may find yourself as a mature woman, you may be in a position where you're dealing with an aging parent, and yet you're helping your daughter or your son with their child. Maybe you are taking care of your grandchild while your daughter or son has to go to work every day. So you're juggling two different responsibilities, plus maybe your spouse or your other kids and your work. I mean, how many things can you do at once, right? And so the stress and anxiety builds up. It builds up. But with doing some self-care for yourself, taking time for yourself, and setting boundaries and saying, this is where today is for me. Today is for Susan. If anyone asks me to do anything for them today, unless it's an emergency, I'm going to say, can it wait for tomorrow? Because today I have a commitment for myself. So you need to be able to understand the causes and the effects and employing effective coping strategies. We can regain control over our emotional well-being. We can, even though you may think it's impossible right now where you're at, take my word for it. I've been in your shoes and I'm a hell of a lot better. I'm not perfect, but I am better. It's manageable. Remember, you are resilient, you are capable, and the key here is that you are deserving of a life that's filled with peace and serenity. Let's embark on this journey together, supporting and empowering one another every step of the way. If you need any help at all, please reach out to me. You could email me at susan@susanlopresti.com. I made it very easy for you guys to remember how to get in touch with me. You can go to my website and schedule a free 30-minute health assessment with me. It doesn't need to be about health. It could be about anything, just someone that you could talk to. Go to my website, www.susanlopresti.com. You'll see an area on my website that says schedule a free 30-minute health assessment with me. Fill in that information and I will reach out to you. We will schedule a time that's convenient for you as well as me, where we could get on a call for 30 minutes. Now, don't think that I'm going to say, oh, sorry, your 30 minutes is up. We have to hang up. I won't do that. Okay. I call it a 30-minute health assessment. We'll talk as long as you need to, and we'll take it from there. You're under no obligation to continue. When I tell you that it's free, it's free. If it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or if we go to 60 minutes, it's free. And that's my promise to you. If you enjoyed this episode, the next thing I'm going to ask is please follow me here. Please leave me a comment here. And the next thing I want to ask you to do, I know I'm asking a lot today, is share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with someone who you think could benefit from listening to this episode or any other episode that you may have listened to on here. And you say, gee, you know what? So-and-so could really benefit from listening to this. Maybe someone you know is dealing with an addiction or has a loved one that they're dealing with who has the addiction. Send them to me. I have a lot of experience with it. I may be able to help them. Again, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. Take good care, everyone.